All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with this ATS compliant resume template training. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, so I'm going to try to make this as quickly as possible. So the purpose is to give you an intentionally designed ATS compliant resume so that there are no formatting or structural issues as you apply through ATS systems. The issue with applying through an ATS system is that you never know how each system is set up or how one system differs from another. This is why it's important to just have one standard basic formatting attached to your resume so that regardless of what the ATS system is, you can pass because your resume is compliant. So let's go ahead and scroll down. You can read this information once you open up the template, but I did want you to see I gave you the information in case something goes wrong and you forgot, or if you mess up the formatting as you work through the resume, you can see clearly what the expectations are. No italics, no underlining, no decorative fonts. Left aligned, your margins should be set between 0.5 and 1 inch. These for this resume are actually set at 0.75. There are no tables. So these are the things that we intentionally avoid. Tables, text boxes, icons, symbols, headshots. I didn't put that on here, but that's another one. And then shading or background colors. All of those things are avoided. Each section of the resume includes instructional comments. So if you look here, I'm walking you through what to do for each one of these sections. I try to give more information than to be vague because everyone learns different. Everyone translates information differently. So I try to over-inform rather than not give enough information. That's why you'll notice as you walk through a lot of my tools, I give you instructions and guides for everything I create. All right, so formatting, let's click here. In order to open up any of these boxes, you'll just click inside the box. So you want to keep it simple. We already talked about what the formatting should look like. I do have these set up already and locked in so that if you're not familiar, these are already set as all caps. So if you delete this whole thing, it's going to delete the formatting. So the way to avoid that is once you're ready to type your name in here, you'll go here after you read the instructions, you'll click those three dots and you'll delete the thread. And then you can make whatever changes you want to make. And as you can see, as I type, I'm not holding caps or putting in caps. It's automatically coming up as caps. So I'll undo all of this so we can get back to what it was. So you'll type in your city, state, zip. As you type it in, just make sure that you keep the spacing. ATS is really big on spacing, so make sure that you keep your spacing as it is set up in the template. So hopefully you guys know how to navigate Word, but if you just highlight the area that you want to type in, I don't know what area code that is, but if you want to highlight the area that you want to type in, it'll keep your spacing the way that it needs to be. So from letter to letter, don't go past the letter and just begin typing there. And it remains spaced. All right. So let's undo that. All right. So if we scroll down, and there's two scroll sections. There's this one, which controls the actual pages. And then there's this one that controls the comments. Okay, just FYI in case you did not know. So this section is your branding header. I'm explaining here what this is for and how to utilize it. Next box or next comment is for your branding statement, which is your professional summary. I think we used to call this objective back in the day. So this explains exactly how you should do this, how you would want it to be written. As you work through all of these, again, highlight once you read this, click those three dots, delete, and you can begin making your edits. Do not make edits while that is still highlighted because you'll end up messing up your formatting, and that's not what you want to do. Skills should never be listed in columns or tables, strictly inline text. That's what you want to do. Basic bullet points. Now, the bullet points are a little tricky. So if I were you, if I ran this through the AI tool and it gave me additional bullets to add here, or said if it said to remove specific bullets, then I would highlight that from letter to letter and I would just type what I want to type. I would not delete the entire bullet because that could essentially mess up the formatting. If you mess up anything, you can always go to the top and do your redo, undo. Professional experience. Here I'm explaining to you that you're going to ditch the pronouns. Some people include pronouns in their bullets. We don't do that. It's already implied that you're speaking about yourself. So just list what you've done. Another thing, um, if this is your current employer, then this should be written in present tense. So it wouldn't be led, it would be leading. It wouldn't be implemented, it would be implementing. I think y'all get the point. If it's past tense, if these are previous employers, then of course you put that as a previous employer. Anything, again, that you're going to change, highlight from letter to letter and type. Don't just start typing because you'll mess up the formatting. And I don't want you to do that, especially if you do not understand how to navigate Word accordingly. A lot of my clients do not understand how to adequately navigate. And since I don't know who knows what, I'm just going to say we're going to keep it the way it is. One thing I want to make clear for sure is as you are typing, your bullet points may go down. Let's say you're adding things, adding things, adding things. It is okay if your bullet points spill over. That's absolutely fine. I don't know why this is bold. That's absolutely fine if the bullet points spill over. What is not fine is, let's say this one only had 4 bullet points. If you find yourself in a situation where this job has started at the bottom of this page, but the information for the job is here, you're going to go ahead and just either hit the enter button to tab down, or if you're knowledgeable about Word, you can just go insert page break and it'll break it there for you. So just FYI on that. All right. Education, I'm explaining to you that you do want to make sure that your degrees are spelled out. Do not just list acronyms. You want to make sure when you get to this section, if you are a board member on a committee, any affiliated networks specific to your field, for instance, for HR, we have SHRM, and any other professional affiliations such as your sororities, fraternities. These are not necessary. If you have a board membership, you should absolutely include that because it highlights your leadership abilities. I have it all listed here. These are optional. If you include them, if you include this, it should definitely be because you held a leadership position, not just because you were a member. Otherwise, it looks like you're just decorating your resume, and that's not what you want to do. We're not impressed by that as recruiters. That doesn't impress us. Unless you have a connect and you know your recruiter is in your sorority, then maybe it matters, but otherwise it doesn't. And then professional development. These are additional certifications that you have. Now, I put the board service here because this is a leadership foundation. If you don't have this, or if you don't feel it's that relevant as compared to your professional development, you could switch these parts. I just don't. But this is your resume. You do what you want. So you would only list the assigning entity, the organization or the school, if it is relevant and adds validation and credibility to the certification. If it does not, then you can leave it off. If it's a training that you did for a previous employer, you don't have to list where you got that training. But if it's an institute, if it's a university, LinkedIn is also something that's very creditable. You can list those there. Another thing, when it comes to your statements, these statements here. So if you go back up to the top, I'm explaining to you, a lot of people don't use these. These are impact statements. They don't use them because I think because they're usually seen more so in senior level positions where you want to kind of validate what your role was, not necessarily in entry level positions. And then it just depends for mid level. But if you see this here, I included it. You don't have to add it if you don't have any relevant information to add. What's most important is that you quantify as many of your bullets as possible. So if you have anything with numbers, you led a team of 150 employees, you improved processes by 30%, 22%. If you have any of that information, those are called achievement focused bullet points. You want to make sure those are included in your top 2, 3 bullets. And then the rest of your bullets should be impact focused. So exactly how you contributed to the organization. What we do not want to see is task oriented bullet points. Nothing that's really task oriented. We want to see impact. That's what impresses us. And that's also what links your resume to the job description or the role profile that you're applying for. That is what ATS is looking for. Do you have the ability to do the job? And again, all ATS systems are different, so it really just depends on how the system you are applying through is built. Now, if you have a pretty resume, excuse me, if you have a pretty resume, that's absolutely fine. You can have the colors, the tables, the charts, all the things, but you would only use that if you are applying directly to a role in person, like if you're at a job fair or if someone said, hey, email me your resume, I'm going to look at it. That is when you would use those types of resumes. If you're applying through a system, then you're going to always revert to this resume because this is the one that will help you get past ATS. Remember, there's also other factors that you have to pass, such as answering the disqualifying questions appropriately. We want you to be honest. Don't lie, but sometimes your answer can determine whether or not you are moving forward to the review phase. So keep that in mind. Everything is not for everyone. Hopefully, this resume helps with a lot of the things that you're experiencing as far as not making it past ATS. Those who I have done this resume for effective January 5th are seeing results. They are seeing movement. They sealed interviews, second round, third round interviews. I have some people who actually got offers, whether they accepted them or not. There are about 3 people. So I know this resume is pushing through, and I know that it's going to do what it needs to do for you. Make sure that you save your final version of your resume in a PDF because you don't want to give them the Word doc unless it's specifically asked for. Reason being, Word can accidentally lose formatting. It can accidentally lose verbiage. It can also rearrange itself depending on how it's submitted, whatever the system does to it. So that's why you want to put it in PDF because PDF locks the formatting. If you do not know how to save it in PDF, you simply go File and then Save as PDF. That's easy breezy. Um, Also, I want you to make sure that you remove all of this extra information. I've already showed you how to delete the comments because you're going to delete each comment after you read it so that you can make your changes. So you're going to hit those 3 dots and just delete, and it'll get rid of all of your comments. Then, in order to delete this page, I mean, it's simple. You can highlight the whole page and just hit delete and hit the backspace key until, well, hit the delete key, my apologies, until this page moves up. And now your comments will be gone. And this is your first page of your resume. You don't want to exceed 2 or maybe 3 max, depending on how many jobs you're trying to present. Typically 7 to 10 years is enough. So if you have jobs that range between 7 to 10 years, that's enough of relevant experience. I would not go past 10 years if possible. Let me undo this. Okay. You could also just come here, click in front of that F and, go delete the whole thing going all the way back, but that's a lot. I would prefer you to just highlight the whole thing, hit delete, and then move that page up. That's the easiest way. If you have any questions, send me a message, email me, send me a message through TikTok, however you can get in contact with me. I'm definitely available to answer any questions. Texting or messaging and email are the best options. I hope this works for you guys. If you have any questions, again, reach out and let me know how it's going. Talk to you soon.